So we have learned many things in the first part of the subject, that is data science and data visualization. We have learned many things. Now in this particular subject, we'll be focusing on two different parts, statistics and the machine learning, which is required for advanced machine learning. Here some machine learning techniques are there, but not in detail. I'll show you the content of the syllabus first. So let's see this one. We'll focus on that, how exactly the process will be there, that I will show you. Okay. So look at this. This is our syllabus structure. The prerequisite for the subject is data science and visualization that we have seen in the last semester. Okay, and to connect it to it, we are going to learn about statistics, mathematics required for machine learning. Along with that, we are having some measures for hypothesis testing also. We'll be learning some statistical inference method also. In the first unit itself, we are having many technique, and second unit also we have the same. Basic concept of machine learning. Last semester also we have seen many machine learning technique. I think they are not now there. They have changed the syllabus again, and machine learning is now shifted in the subject number 2 and subject number 3 also. So here we'll see some machine learning, some concepts of machine learning, classification and regression categories also, and classification model in machine learning. Okay, how they are actually built. Most of the thing that I will show practically. See, the thing is that this subject is only theory, but we'll learn practical point of view also. But when you see the things practically, you will get to know more about in more detail, because theoretically it seems to be difficult sometime to understand the concept. So every concept, almost, if it is possible, I'll show the thing practically using Python programming language also. So in detail, we'll try to understand the respective concepts. Okay. So the aim of this subject is to learn about statistics most probably, and then machine learning. Machine learning is not much focus. The prime part is to understand statistics behind it. Statistics is not actually complicated. It's very easy to understand. We'll try to do the things practically, so we'll get to know about statistics in more detail, how exactly the meaning of statistical concepts are present in machine learning. Okay, that my prime focus will be for the same. You see the contents. First units are based on statistical inference. Statistical inference. So somewhat basic statistical inference that we required, like descriptive statistics and inferential statistics, as well as the measure of central tendency, then measures of dispersion, then different hypothesis tests are there. Three main topics are there. That is basic statistics, then descriptive statistics, central tendency measures, dispersion measures, hypothesis testing, and many other testing methodology like regression methods are there, and chi-square statistic that we are going to see in the unit number 1. Okay, and there are some exemplar studies also present for a payroll data set, create a measure of central tendency and measure of dispersion. We'll see that also practically how exactly these techniques are used and what's the real world application of these same in terms of machine learning there. Then unit number 2 focus on some advanced level of inferences like relationship measures or measures of position. Okay, relationship, how to identify relationship. Relationship measure is above given first unit also, that is Pearson correlation. That correlation is taken in second unit also. You can see Carl's Pearson correlation coefficient is there. So the topic is duplicated, that's present here. And for some part like linear models, regression analysis. So regression analysis here, and here also we can see similar regression analysis. So maybe that will be taken again, and then we'll see the probabilistic model for credit card fraud detection. That also we'll see practically as a case study. Then unit number 3 is focusing on linear algebra and the calculus. Actually, many things are the linear algebra contains. Here in this unit, small, very common parts are given there. We'll focus in detail. We'll try to solve this by using the linear regression packages of Python also. Sorry, linear algebra package of Python. That also we will see. It's very interesting to see this concept practically and try to understand that. Unit number 4 is focusing on the machine learning basics. Very common basics are there, where how machine learning is, or designing a system, then what is supervised and supervised reinforcement learning, applications and issues of machine learning. That's it. Not more than that is present in machine learning topic. And there's a case study that also we'll see how to use the Netflix, how Netflix is using the machine learning case study. Unit number 5 is focusing on regression models. Again, we are going to have the regressions here, simple regression again, third time. and gradient descent regression, training model evaluation. Okay, that also we'll see step by step. Multivariate regression, multivariable regression is present here. Here also multivariate regression. Okay, that will be, again we are going to learn the things about the regression for one more time. Okay, so here regression things, linear and multivariate regressions are there. Case study which is mentioned, that also we will see how the health analytics will be done with the help of regression analysis, that also we'll see. And the limit unit number 6, that is classification model, where only two classifiers are mentioned, that decision tree classification and Bayesian theorem. I think both of them we have seen in last semester also, but they are now not there. They are present here in the classification system. So we'll be having decision tree classification, regression trees, how to use this decision tree for multiple purposes, that we'll see. And Bayesian theorem. Again, Bayesian theorem is duplicated here. Bayesian theorem is present here also. And you can find Bayesian theorem is present here also, classifier and Bayesian network. Okay. So this topic is also present two number of times. That also we'll see practically. And for this, they have given a case study for decision tree model for customer churn identification. That also we will see. Fine. Okay, so talking to overall syllabus and the textbook, the textbooks which are mentioned, actually syllabus is not taken from that textbook. Syllabus is there in different textbook, which names are not mentioned over here. I will share that PDF files also with you once the topics are over. That I will show. The first book which is written here, Tom Mitchell's machine learning book. It was written by Tom Mitchell in 1996, 97 somewhere that time, and its republications are available. Its PDF file is also available. Complete statistics about the machine learning is given in that books that you can refer. And two more books are there whose names are not mentioned here. That books also I will share with you. Along with that, some more study material that's required if you want to work with programming and all practical part, that also I'll share with you. Fine. So in first week we'll be completing statistical inference part 1. What do you mean by statistical inference, and what are the different measures are present for inference? So 3 measures are in unit number 2 and 2 measures are in unit number 1 contain 3 measures, unit number 2 contain 2 measures for statistical inference. These are required to understand the machine learning. So before actually apply the machine learning technique, we need to understand the data distribution and different measurement part to measure the data. Okay, you have to measure the data's central tendency, or you have to measure the dispersion, means variability inside the data. You have to measure, you have to apply the test onto it. That's the aim of unit number 1 is there. So let's start with the first part, that is the statistical inference. First part. The prerequisite of machine learning is the statistics. That's why it's important to note the statistical concept very commonly as a part of machine learning there. So let's start with the first, statistical inference. These are the contents of it. Okay, so before starting, let's revise a simple concept of statistics. Maybe if you have heard about the statistics already, what do you mean by it? What are the types of it? And what are the measurement are present? So what is statistics? Statistics is the discipline that concern the collection, organization, analysis, interpretation, and presentation of data. I'm talking about different sort of numerical data that is collected. Numerical data, or maybe somewhat we having the categorical data also, string data, but we need to convert that into the numerical format. Then only statistical operation is possible. So we collect the data from multiple sources. We organize that data in different ways. We do analysis on that data. Now, see, remember, analysis is statistical analysis term. Statistical analysis, that's what is required. We perform some statistical operation on that. We can find some pattern present in it, and then we can summarize it. We can use that data for machine learning model. So that analysis is expected, and interpretation of the data. We interpret that data in some model format. Some model we interpret, yeah, what pattern is present inside it. Okay, what rules are present inside it. Okay, what connectivity that data is having. Okay, so that we interpret, and finally we present the data. We present the data for machine learning or for showing some kind of results over there. So many machine learning algorithm internally uses the statistical modeling, and with the help of that model, they use that model for doing descriptive analytics or the predictive analytics. Descriptive analytics is just to create a model. Okay, based on the description, and second is predictive analytics, where we are going to do the prediction based on the given data. So for either descriptive analytics or predictive analytics, the data can be used. So in applying statistics to scientific, industrial, or social problem, it is conventional to begin with a statistical model to be studied. So actually, this is what the pre-requirements are there. When we have to see the study, we have to study the data modeling before actually performing, where everywhere data is present. Maybe you are having scientific problems, some industrial problems, or some social problems. So we need to understand what sort of data is present and how, which kind of statistical method is applied. But before that, we are going to learn about few terminologies that statistics are using. So whenever we are using this terminology, you should not be confused at what's the meaning of it. Remember, meaning is it should be clear, and once the meaning is clear, then only we can specially use this technique easily, basically in the machine learning. Populations, it's like we have population can be a diverse group of people or object, such as all people living in the country. So the term population will come multiple number of time in the statistics, and that will come multiple number of time in the probability study also. But what's the meaning of it? Okay, so we just can think population of the country, all people living in a country, or every atom composing a crystal. All means all they are having a common property present there. They are the part of common thing, that is called as population. Correct. The statistics deal with every aspect of data, including planning of data collection in terms of design, survey, and experiments. Okay, design of surveys and the experiments that we can carry over the data which we have collected. So being a part of data science, data is the prime source of information. So because without data, data science cannot be present. Without data, machine learning cannot be created. And without data, statistical operations are not possible. So center point of all of this field of study is data. Okay, and related operations are connected with the data only. Now see, when the census data cannot be collected, statisticians collect data by developing specific experiment, design, and survey samples. Is it possible? Do you know that the census means population count? Population count was scheduled in 2020, 2021, 2020, 2021. But it is not possible for any country because of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's not possible. For every 10 years, they are physically conducting the collection of data. But still, do you know the population of India? You can find on Wikipedia. Indian population is given there. Then why it's required to conduct? That's the secondary part. But how they have identified the population of India? How they are knowing it? Now see, when it is not possible to perform actual operations, the statistician collected data by developing specific experiment design and survey samples. You can see exit polls, how they are collecting exit poll. The person who has collected exit poll is not visited your home. He has not asked you to whom you have given a vote. Correct. But how they knows it, how they know that this particular party will win and these are the exit poll results are. So they're developing a specific experiment design and survey samples. Okay, that's assumption statistics is that the property applicable to this sample is applicable to whole population also. That is the advantage of using the statistics. You find a pattern, you design some models, and with that model you perform the operations. Just like we have seen the Tauktae cyclone from last 2-3 days. It was visiting from all the west coast of the India, starting from Kerala to Gujarat. But they have predicted how much loss is incurred because of that cyclone. How it's possible? They have not reached to every home and calculated how much loss, how much loss, how much loss. Everyone, they have not asked everyone. But using some statistical measures, that loss identification is done. Remember. Survey samples. So statistics help in building such kind of model where we can use this kind of predictive analytics where the data is unknown. Fine. So representative sampling assures that inferences and conclusions can reasonably extend from sample to the population as a whole. Yes, sample to the population. Sample to the population. I want to check the mindset of the class. For example, your class is there. I want to say or check the mindset of every student sitting in your class. So I will not check everyone's. I'll go for a sample survey. Only these kind of persons, and I will ask some questions to them. Accordingly, I'll find what kind of mindset you are having. So are you willing to learn something or you are not, or what kind of viewpoint that you are having toward the engineering, or what kind of viewpoint you are having towards your teachers, towards your colleagues, or towards your career, that I can take from the sample, not the whole people, some sample of population be there. This kind of statistical operations can be done, and this is the application of statistics in the real world situations. Fine. So an experimental study involves taking measurement of the system under study, manipulating the system, and then taking additional measurement using the same procedure to determine if the manipulation, it has modified the values of the measurements there. Many things are there, that is modification and result of the modification that we can compare, and accordingly we can conclude something. If I am doing this, then it is expected like that. Okay, why it is done? Because I have done this. This is just I make the conclusions, and these conclusions are made with the help of statistical operation. That is what statistics is important. In contrast, observational study does not involve experimental manipulations. Experimental manipulations, obviously, it's not there. Remember, yeah. So, what different kind of statistical measures are present? Okay, this particular chart will show you the detailed organization of statistics, types of statistics. Two different kind of statistics are present over here: descriptive statistics and the inferential statistics. Inferential statistics, descriptive statistics. Again, under descriptive statistics, we are having two different measures. Okay, first is measure of tendency, and second is the measure of variability. So which are mentioned here. Everything we are going to see step by step. What's the use of it and why to apply that particular measure? That also we will see. Descriptive, inferential statistics we'll see first. What's the meaning of it? And under the descriptive, again, multiple different parts are present. So to understand the data, or to understand which kind of statistical method is applicable on that data, we will be making use of this. Okay, which kind of statistical method is applicable, that we can find by this particular system. So descriptive in all population, and then we'll see the inferential statistics. Okay, so let's continue. What is descriptive statistics? Descriptive statistics in the count noun sense is a summary statistics that quantitatively describes or summarizes feature of a collection of information, while descriptive statistics is the mass noun sense, the process of using analyzing those statistics. See, I'm having the data with me, and I want to identify the properties of the whole data in summary of it. What can be the properties of it? I can add all the entries together. I will have a sum of them. Fine. I can have average of all of them, mean of all of them. That is what we can do on it. Or I can find the deviations present inside it, how they are deviated from the center, from the mean, like all. So that is a summary statistics. How can I summarize the collection of data, a quantity of the data? That is descriptive statistics will show me. Descriptive statistics is distinguished from the inferential statistics, that is called as inductive statistics, in that descriptive statistics aim to summarize a sample rather than use the data to learn about the population that the sample of data is thought to represent. We just can think of it simply descriptive. 100 people are there, 100 persons are there. I have given the age of all of that persons. I give the age of all that 100 persons there, and maybe that 100 persons average age is 30. Let's say average age is 30, for example, and that is the 100 is the population. Now I'll take a sample out of 100. I will take let's say some 10 people. Okay, and I will have an average of that 10 people. Correct? Is it possible that average of that 10 people is also 30? Obviously possible. When it is possible? When you check the data is uniformly distributed. Uniformly distributed. That time we can identify it. It's okay. Around 30 is possible. Exact 30 is not possible. Around 30. It may be 32, 33, 28 also, 29 also. That may be possible there. So summary that you apply on the data is concerned about the descriptive statistics. Fine. Descriptive statistics. So the operation that you apply on sample of data is possible to get applied on the whole population also. Whole population summary statistic that you apply. The mean of that can be same as the hundreds mean. Average of that can be same as the average of all. Fine. Median can be same. Can be. Exact similarity is not there. It's not a rule of mathematics or statistics. It's we can identify key average, mean, or any other properties which are concerned, which are present for sample is applicable to the whole population also. That is what descriptive statistics tells us. Okay, fine. The second kind of statistics is called as inferential statistics. Inferential. Now, what is inferential? Statistical inference we call it is the process of using data analysis to deduce properties of an underlying probability distribution. Deduce the properties of an underlying probability distribution. That's a process to do this one. We'll see the thing practically also, programmatically, or we'll see by some numerical format also. Inferential statistical analysis infers properties of a population, for example, by testing hypotheses and deriving estimates. Hypothesis means I'm putting some theory. Hypothesis. Okay, I may think that this may happen. Like this is a hypothesis and deriving some estimates from it. Using that model of the data, mathematical model, we can derive some estimates. So it is assumed that observed data set is sampled from the larger population. Inferential statistics can be contrasted with descriptive statistics. Yes, observed data set is sampled from the large population. So descriptive statistics is solely concerned with properties of observed data, and it does not rest on the assumption that data comes from the large population. That is, descriptive statistics will be concerned with. Now, if you just compare both of them, you can just check it out. Descriptive statistics. Descriptive. It is used to describe, organize, and summarize information about an entire population. Just an example which I've shown here. Okay, all that. Describe, organize, and summarize information about the entire population. That is 90% satisfaction of all the customers that we have. 10% are not. Descriptive statistics. That's found. Inferential. Inferential used to generalize about population based on the sample of data. Generalize population based on sample data. That's what I told. General statistics is concerned about the inferential statistics. I told 90% satisfaction of sample of 50 customers is equal to 90% satisfaction of all the customers, which is what exit poll example I told. Okay, 90% of 50 customer is equal to 90% of all the customers. So if you focus on that sample of data is taken, I got 90% customers satisfied. So I can think that I can generalize it that the whole population is also satisfied. So sample and population concept is connected in the inferential statistics, and the whole data and their summary statistics is concerned about the descriptive idea of statistics methods there. Fine. This is what the difference that we can say is present between the descriptive and the inferential statistics. Why? Question is very important to note. Why statistics? What features are most important? Remember, we have a data set and I want to build all of it. But using what? Which features, which important features are used to build the model? For example, in my data set, I have given the roll number of student. Roll number of student. What do you think? Roll number of student will affect the marks of student? Yes. Is it? No. Question answer is no. Roll number will not affect the marks. It means that the roll number feature is not important. How do you know about it? So you need to apply some statistical measurement. By that only you can identify whether roll number is important feature or not. Fine. Correct. So important feature extraction we call. The important feature which we use, which we may require to build your machine learning model or which your data model, any kind of data model. Which features are important to find the answer for that? Second, how should we design the experiment to develop our product strategy? designment, because we know if this then that, there's a connectivity present there. If I'm doing this operation, my result is that. If I'm doing this operation, my result is that. That operation, my result is this, something like that. We know that. So based on that, we define a strategy. You change your input to have expected output. Okay, so that strategy design is required from statistics. So you guys can do statistics and based on it perform. See, in one area, in an area, if number of population of male is very less or female is very high. For example, in a class of mechanical engineering student, only 10% female are there and 90% male are present. Then based on that, you define the strategy for the respective class there. So that is what we design the product strategy there. The second, what performance metrics you should we measure? Should we measure statistics? That's very important. See, we'll see that one also in classification and regression. We are having classification problem. We have the regression problems. Classification, we generate the classes, we match the classes. Regression, we generate the continuous output. But can I use the same method to compare the regression output and classification output? Obviously not, because classification output is in the form of the categories and continuous output is there from the regression measures. So both of their performance metrics should be different. Performance metrics should be different. So which one to use? Statistics will show you. Many methods are there. In probability based method, we use different metrics. Even in regression problems, we use mean absolute error, mean squared error, mean log error, median absolute, many are there. So which one to use? That will be shown you by statistics. What is the most common and expected outcome is there? Statistical modeling will tell us about the same. Most common expected outcome. So any machine learning model that you create, it's based on the statistics, basically. So what can be the most common expected outcome that we can have? For example, I build a decision tree. Decision tree is a binary or multi-node tree of multiple decisions present there. Fine. So using the input that you pass, it will check the condition, and based on that, it will traverse through the nodes. Correct. So what can be the expected outcome that we can have? There are some formulas are here. Information gain, entropies are there. Based on that, you predict. Okay, we'll talk about that in unit number 4. So what can be the expected outcome from it that we can identify by statistical methods? Okay, and how do we differentiate between noise and valid data? This is important to note that when you apply a data to the statistical model or machine learning model, it may contain some kind of noise. We call them as outliers. In data science process, we have seen that. What is outlier? Outlier means the entry which are far away from the crowd. For example, in a class of 100 students, almost all the students have got the marks from 40% to 70%, and only 2 people has got marks in 90, above 90%. That 2 are called as outliers, because they don't follow the property of population, property of crowd. That's why they are outliers. Ready? How do I differentiate that? How do we know that these are outliers? Only one property I told about, that is for the marks, but maybe for different features are there. All that feature we need to consider, and accordingly we can find a noise. They are called as noise which does not follow the property of crowd. Noise, anomaly, outliers, these terminologies are connected together. So to know that, we require statistics. Many such methods are there. It may be again possible to check that if in a classification problem all the classes are equal or not. How do we know it? Statistics. Performance measurement, that's what already we have seen. Or if there is a concept of overfitting and underfitting, we'll talk about that in regression model. Overfitting, underfitting. So how do we know it's overfitting and underfitting? Then how do I overcome the problem of overfitting? Yes, we require statistics. This is technically given. These are the generalized point mentioned over here on the slides. Okay, this is what the requirement of statistics are there. Now we in data science also we have talked about common concept that's called a data mining. So what data mining? Data mining convert the data into information. Okay, into information, and information is converted into knowledge. Remember, so here we have data to knowledge. So in isolation, raw observations are just data. We use descriptive statistics to transform this observation into insight that makes sense. Getting observation that make sense. You can identify. Yes, that's my important question is, like, can identify. So when we can use inferential statistics by study small sample of data and extrapolate our finding to the entire population. Just your knowledge. Common surveys are there. You can nowadays we can see lot many surveys are taken on COVID-19. Now this will happen in future. This will happen in future. They are not going to every patient. They are getting a common collective data for samples, and based on that they do the prediction. What will happen in future? Where the situation will go? How this will transform? If you see the current generation to generation from different variants of the virus, so how this virus will go and what will perform in future, that we are finding. This is what we are getting knowledge. We are having only raw data. We convert that into so data to information, information to knowledge, knowledge to wisdom. Finally, wisdom, and the hypothesis that we are putting that can be proved. So my observation is that if I'm giving this input, my output can be done like that. So but we have to do data to information, information to knowledge, and knowledge to wisdom. Finally, just like many theories we have seen in the history of science, like the theory of relativity from Albert Einstein is put, but it was not proven. But it has proved out onwards, afterwards, by many different scientists. The hypothesis what put, and we are using the data, we are using samples, then it is proven that this kind of theory is perfect, and accordingly we can proceed ahead. Fine. So statistics is required to transform data to knowledge. So it's required to understand. So every technique that we use in machine learning, that we use in statistics, they are actually doing this operation. They convert data into the knowledge. We find some insights inside it. Data is there, okay, but what is the insights present there? You can identify something. Yeah, if this happens, then this happens. Okay, students marks, there's a connectivity with something else. The connectivity with IQs, connectivity with revision time is there, connectivity between what they are actually doing at home, how much amount of time they're spending in study, are they interested in engineering or not. This part also required to consider there. Fine. Data to knowledge. So statistics basically used for converting data to the knowledge. Yeah. Okay. So before actually proceeding with the types of statistics, we just we will know about some terminologies which are used in the statistics. Which terminologies? 6 terminologies are there. I able to understand, because these names will come multiple number of times. Population. We talked about population, sample, both. Population. It is an entire pool of data from where the statistical sample is extracted. Entire data set. What is population? Just like all the voters are there, and from that voter some samples are taken. They are just conducting 2,500, 3,000 kind of samples only. Population. Okay, you can see there are crores of different voters, are lakhs of voters are there in a particular constituency, and out of it few thousands of samples they are collecting. So entire data on which you currently experiment is called as the population. Whole data set is just it can be visualized as a complete data set of items that are similar in nature. Yes, population. All people are the citizen of that country. Okay, population. All the voters are the citizen of that constituency. Similarities are present in that. Okay, or you divide some conclusions from the COVID-19. So all were infected by COVID-19, their population. All they are connected with the new disease that we can see, mycosis. All they are infected by that is the population. Out of it, few samples you are taken, and based on that you do the predictions on it. Population is the whole data set, and from the whole data set a subset of data is taken, that is called as sample. Sample, it's a subset of population, that is, it is an integral part of population that has been collected for analysis. Some sample of the data is taken. Out of 100 people, I'll be taking only 10 samples, 10% of the data, and then apply my experiment on that 10 samples only. Remember, see, before the vaccine was released, it was experimented on different kind of data, different kind of people, sorry, the sample they have taken, and they have checked that it's working perfectly or not, and what are the plus minus points are present in it. So using that plus minus point, the conclusions are devised on sample for population. On sample it was concluded and applicable to the whole population also. Make sure. And then the third is variable. What is variable? So variable is value whose characteristics such as quantity can be measured. It can be addressed as a data point or a data item, single value present in the data set, which is called as a variable. Like I have a data set of students which contains roll number, name, marks, class, age, gender. They are the variables. So you summarize how many girls are there, how many boys are there. You summarize. What's a summary of all the marks? What is the maximum of marks? What is the minimum of marks? You summarize. Who is the elder person, elder student? Who is the younger student? Like you can find it. Summarize on it. That's a variable. Next for distribution. The sample of data that is spread over a specific range of values is called a distribution of data. So multiple different kind of distributions are present in statistics. Generally, we consider the common idea of distribution of data is Gaussian distribution, that is normal distribution, data is normal distributed. We'll talk about that by using descriptive statistics measure. It is identified that data is normal distributed or not. When the data is normal distributed, then only machine learning algorithm can perform better on that data. If that not normal distributed, then you have to apply some statistical measures to make it normally distributed. Fine, normalization we call it as. So distribution is spread over it. Parameter. Next, parameter, it's a value that is used to describe the attribute of complete data set. Okay, that is, for example, average of all, mean, percentage of all, median of all, deviation of all, variance of all, skewness of all, cutoffs, many are there that we apply on the whole data set, attributes of complete data set. It is on population. The attribute that you describe for the whole population. How many people are there? 100. Count. What's the percentage of age? What is the average of age? Okay. What's the minimum age? What is maximum age? Single values extracted from that. That is called as a parameter. Next, quantitative analysis. Quantitative analysis deals with a specific characteristic of data, that is summarizing some part of the data. This is called as, we identify the mean of it, variance of it, median, first quartile, second quartile, third quartile data is present in it. That is called as the quantitative analysis. Whatever quantity we have, we analyze the data according to the quantities. And second is qualitative analysis. Qualitative, obviously, terminologies and their literal meaning will differentiate it. This deals with the generic information about the type of data, how clean and how structured is that. See, maybe for statistical model building we require numerical data, but the data is string. In the gender column you are given F and M, correct? Or your roll number is starting with A or B, C, D. No, this cannot be used in the statistical. Basically, roll numbers are not used, but see other data like your class name. So you are given SCTB something, string data. The data is not actually present. So you have to find the quality of the data. So convert the data into numerical format to make it qualitative to get used by this statistical analysis. And some values are missing. Data is missing. The data entry operator has not entered that data well, or or by using some because of some database error or network error, data is not present there, data is not clean, data is not qualitative. Yes, so qualitative analysis deals with the operation that you perform to clean the data and make it available to use from the users, from the users who are using that respective data. These are the terminologies which you use in the statistics. Yes. Now let's start with the statistical inference, inferential statistics. What is statistical inference basically? You can see statistics which are shown over here. What is inference? So use of a sample of data to draw inferences or conclusions about some aspect of situation from which the data were taken. Yes. The use of sample data to draw inferences or conclusions about some aspect of situation from which data is taken. Sample and population connectivities. You draw some conclusions from it, and that conclusions which are applicable to population. So this method we called as the statistical inference. We already seen that inferential statistics. Fine. So what's that? We'll go in detail, try to understand it. Statistical inference is the process of analyzing the result and making conclusion from the data subject to random variations. We conclude it, we analyze the data, and based on this you conclude, you find some conclusion. Yeah, this is what happening there. Because of this subject, the result is down. That is your analysis, your conclusions are there. You can find only one subject has lowered down your system or your complete result, or maybe because of online examination you conducted MCQ format, result is high. Conclusion that you drop. Fine, analyze it. So statistical inference will be useful. It is also called as inferential statistics. Hypothesis testing and confidence interval are the application of it. We'll talk about that. We are having these terminologies, hypothesis testing again, in which you try to understand what is meaning of hypothesis, how to test it, and how to generate the results from that. Statistical inference, it's a method of making decisions about the parameters of population based on random sampling. Again, another way, same idea, I just put in another different method. Random sampling, it's not like sequential. Random samples are taken, take this, and based on that you find, yeah, this is your conclusion out of it. So based about the parameter and random sampling, you just find some conclusions there. It helps to assess the relationship between the dependent and independent variable. Yes, this is important to note. Machine learning is the concept that's, as we have seen, as we know already, that it's finding the connectivity with the help of statistical model which is present between input and output. Exactly, input and output connectivities, independent variable and the dependent variable. Fine. Assessing the relationship between that is possible. So statistical inference will tell us about the same. For example, rather than using a large population of data, you find the relationship between a sample of data and you apply that to the whole population there. Your model is built on very small data and you apply that results on a very large set of data. That is what the application of statistical inference techniques are. The purpose of statistical inference to estimate the uncertainty or sample to sample variation. Uncertainty, what is, okay, so very rarely some exceptions are possible here in it, but this technique, statistical inference, is applied, which is applicable to almost all kind of data, all kind of population that is present with you in the form of the data size. Okay. Now, statistical inference, it allows us to provide probable range of values for true values of something in the population. Okay, the component of making statistical inferences are this one, which we can see there on the screen. Sample size, variability in the sample, size of observed differences. Okay, so statistical inferences or the model of statistical inferences can be created with the help of this type. So sample size or variability present, variability variance present sample, and how many number of elements are there, even the differences that we have in the observed data. So based on that, statistical inferences can be calculated. There's a procedure which is followed in statistical inference, which we can see is present over here. Some 7-8 steps are present in statistical inference. Begin with a theory. Yeah, I think that this may be possible there. I think that. Okay, this is your, what do you think? I think. Theory, your theory is like that. Based on your observation there, it's not like I just put any kind of theory. We put, this is my observation. I think that this may happen. So we'll create a hypothesis. Hypothesis is like a theory. I know that if I change this, then I may get some output changes here. That is hypothesis creation. Then we operationalize the variables. Then we define what sort of variables will prove your hypothesis. That is operationalizing the variables. Then we recognize the population to which the study results should apply. Yes, recognize the population. So I have conducted these studies. I know that I have put some theories. Now I want the data. On this data, I want to apply. On this data, I want to apply this study. So I'll collect the data for that with some set of features present. The features means input variables. You will use that input variables, you apply onto it, and after that I will formulate a null hypothesis for this population. See, again in hypothesis testing we'll talk about null hypothesis. Null hypothesis means, I'll summarize it first. Null hypothesis is something which is already proven and it is now universal rule. Okay, that is already proven. Like the solar system is having 8 planets in it. Proven already. That is null hypothesis. And using that, you put your hypothesis. Like, fine. Then accumulate the sample from population and continue study. Yes, random population taken. Some set of elements are taken randomly, and using that random set of element, you prove your statistical measures there. Finally, conduct statistical test to see if the collected sample properties are adequately different from what would be expected under the null hypothesis, or will be able to reject the null hypothesis. This is called as the test. Hypothesis testing. Many are there. Chi-square test we can apply. T-test are there. Multiple T-tests are there that we can apply. By that we can prove, yes, it is possible that this population will have these properties present in it. If it is there, then we can formulate. Yeah, this is the model that I can create, and using this model we can perform the predictive analytics onto it or descriptive analytics onto it. This is the common procedure which is followed in the statistical inferences. Okay, solution. Okay, so how would you find the solution? So statistical inference solutions produce efficient use of statistical data related to group of individuals or trial. Multiple trials are also possible there. And it deals with all the characters, including collection, investigation, analysis of data, organizing the collected data. By statistical inference solution, people can acquire knowledge after starting their work in the diverse field. Some statistical solutions are something like this. Knowledge before working in that, you just use statistical inference. Yeah, when I'm working in that area, then I need to do some statistics. So this amount of money is invested here, this is what we are incurring, the plus minus point that we can have, and then we'll find some final solution based on it. Remember, statistics is a part of human generated ideas. How we decide, exactly same way statistical inference also decides. Now see, some statistical inference solution facts. It is common way to assume that observed sample is of independent observation from the population, like Poisson distribution or normal distribution. Poisson distribution or normal is basically, normal is called as Gaussian distribution. Generally, we use the data, we add the and identify the data from the normally distributed data set, which is normally distributed. From that data we'll take it. I'll show that what normal distribution means when we see the hypothesis testing. Then statistical inference solution is used to evaluate the parameters of expected model, like normal mean or binomial proportion. Okay, that's possible to identify normal mean, and many statistical properties are that we can extract from that. Let's see one example of statistical inference. What do you mean by inference? How do I find the conclusions out of it? Now see, so there in a suit there are 4 different kind of cards are present. You might be knowing: spade, clubs, hearts, and diamonds. Okay, so I'm having that set of cards with me. Total 52 cards I think I'm having, and 400 times I've taken a card out of it. So question is that from shuffled pack of cards, the card is drawn. This trial is repeated for 400 times. Okay, 400 times. And all these 400 times, what I got spade 90 times, clubs for 100 times, hearts for 120 times, and diamonds for 90 times. Let's say, for example. Okay. Now, while the card is trial at random, what is the probability of getting? So you find probability of it. Next time, 400 time already is drawn. What is the probability of getting a diamond card? What is the probability of getting diamond card? When I'm taking any random card out of it, what is the probability of getting a black card? Second, black, two colors are there, red and black. Diamond card means four possibilities are there: diamond, heart, club, and spade. Second, black card. So two possibilities are there, red and black. Okay, out of you might be knowing which one are diamond and heart are red and club and spade are black. Is what is the probability that a black card will be taking? And what is the probability that except for spade means probability of getting club, heart, and diamond, three together? Probability. So how it is found? Let's go with this. See, now by statistical inference solution, the total number of events are 400. Means 400 times the card is taken out already. Fine. 400 times it is taken out. Now what is the probability of getting diamond card? Diamond card. Diamond. Number of trials with diamond card is drawn. How many number of times? 90 times. So out of 400 times, 90 times diamond card are drawn. So probability of diamond card is 0.22 to 25%. 0.22%, let's say. Is there mean 22% basically 2.5% probability is there that I will get a diamond card here. First case. You find. Now second. So, and applying on single data now. From the whole observation you apply on single data. Now second. What is the probability of getting the black cards? Two blacks are there. Which one? As I shown, spade and club is back. In 90 plus 100. Okay, total 190 are there. 190 out of 400, 190 time already the black card was drawn. The probability of it is 47.5% because out of 400, 190 times this card was drawn. Okay, fine. So probability of getting black card is 190, that is out of 400 is 47.5%. And then the third case, except spade means except spade remaining others are taken. The number of trials when other than spade showed up, that is you can see here in 100 plus 120 plus 90 except this one. So I think out of 310 will be there because for 400 if you subtract 90, 310 here. 90 plus 100 plus 120. So except spade, other cards are getting, then what's the probability of it? Out of 400, 310 are there, which is 77.5%. Like that. These are the simplest examples I have shown over here. So using this simple example, you can identify how the statistical inference are basically taken. You apply the for all and then you check for every each element and what can be the probability, possibility of getting the expected output. That is what we have seen over here. That is statistical inference solution. How exactly they are identified, that's what we have seen. Okay, so before proceeding, we'll just take a break of 2 minutes, just a break of 2 minutes, and then we will continue. Thank you.